with your $1,000, you know, budget a little bit of money to drop it by a bike shop once in a while. But Ride1up is putting a quality bike together for the money, for sure. I have seen some really crappy e-bikes for $1,000. This is a darn good e-bike for $1,000, but like I said, I've been riding it for a week. There's a lot of parts on here that aren't branded, but they seem to work just as they should. And I don't want people calling up my bike shop 3 or 4 months from now saying I told them to buy this bike and now it's crap and be mad at me. It's a good bike. I'm gonna ride it around for a little bit more. I don't know how long Ride1up's gonna let me keep it, but I'm gonna use this as my daily commuter. If something happens, I'll let you know. And I'll try to do maybe a weekly review on this bike. I'm letting some of my friends ride it. Everybody seems to like this little bike so far. But like I said, I don't sell this bike, but for $1,000, I think I don't think you can beat it if you're looking for this type of bike. But just remember, that's what type of bike are you looking for? If you need good solid transportation, something that's fun, something that's compact, something with better parts than other bikes at $1,000, that's for sure. Hey everybody, Bart from Bicycle Ride1up, and I'm out running a few errands on the Ride1up Portela. So anyway, this is a new e-bike from Ride1up. This is a mini folding e-bike, and when I say mini, for you that don't know my channel, I do own a brick and mortar bike shop in Biloxi, Mississippi. I don't sell Ride1up. I'll get to the rest of the story why I don't sell Ride1up here in just a little bit, so stick with me. But moral of the story is I am testing this bike out for Ride1up, getting a review. I don't review a lot of consumer direct e-bikes. I just don't do it. I'm a dealer of name brand e-bikes, but I'm out here actually running some errands on Monday afternoon on this e-bike. I just saved a lot of time. So rather than hopping into my van and starting and stopping the engine 10 times to go to the bank, go to the grocery store, pick up some fish, pick up some ice, run by the gym and get some coffee, I did it all on the e-bike, and I did it within an hour's time, and saved myself a lot of gas, wear and tear doing short trips. Was able to get rockstar parking everywhere I went, and these little folding e-bikes are perfect for just that. This is perfect for someone that maybe is very space constricted, apartment, they don't have a garage, traveling in a motorhome. These kind of bikes really do serve the purpose, utilitarian wise, of being able to do a lot of short trips. Of course, I put a bag on the back of this, and this is not a Ride1up bag. This is just a bag I had in the back of my bike shop. So this is a pretty cool little bike. Let me go to why I don't sell this out of my bicycle shop. Ride1up is a direct consumer brand. I don't really review direct consumer bikes, where I get a ton of these people wanting me to review their bikes, and I'm not hanging my hat on this bike as far as, don't get mad at me if you buy this bike from Ride1up and come into Biloxi Bicycle Works, my bicycle shop, and get mad at me if this bike breaks on you. I'm just going to give you my personal opinion of this bike, and at $1,000 that you can get this bike for, there is, they can sell that to you because they cut out the bicycle shop. So there's good to that and there's bad to that. There's bad to me because, I don't make any money off of these bikes, and everybody, works for money. I'm sure if you've got a job right now, or, you've got a son or a daughter or a father or mother with a job, they don't do that job for free. So everybody needs to make a little bit of money at their job. My job is selling bikes and repairing bikes. So at $1,000, there is no way I can make any money selling this bike, because they're giving it to you at a bargain price. It's a good value bike, and like I said, I don't normally review direct-to-consumer bikes because a lot of them are junk, and I don't want to hang my hat on these bikes. This Ride1up, and I have been dealing with Ride1up for a while before I even started the bike shop. I owned a couple Ride1up bikes, and they treated me good. I did a couple YouTube reviews, and some of my friends are still riding those original Ride1up bikes. So they are a better direct-to-consumer brand than I see come through my bike shop. I get to see some really cheap, crappy e-bikes that people have bought, and as an e-bike mechanic and someone who just likes to get people on bikes, I can't repair a lot of those bikes. The quality is so poor on the brakes. Derailleurs are bad, just faulty quality. And of course, when you're direct to consumer, you got to remember you are getting this bike and you've got to put it together. So I have people that say that the head shakes are shaking and they want to bring the brand, but they didn't really put the headset together right to start with. This bike came pretty well assembled, so even someone that is not a professional bike mechanic can get this bike. But I would still say bring this to a bike shop and have them do the final tweaks on it, because even this bike came with a loose headset. I had to tighten up the headset. As a professional bike mechanic, I know what to look for. So back to why I don't sell this bike is just there's no money in it for me. Ride1up saves the consumer money by not having to pay me a little bit of margin to sell this bike. So this is actually a bike that I, as a competitor of some of the bikes I sell, you'll probably recognize the name Aventon. I'm an Aventon dealer. I'm a Trek dealer. I'm a Specialized dealer. I'm a Cannondale dealer. I'm a Marin dealer. I'm a Gazelle dealer. I sell a lot of nice e-bikes, nice e-bikes that have big companies backing up the warranty. So when customers walk in and buy a bike from me, I have got big companies to back up that warranty in case that customer has a problem. Now, I've talked to several people that have had to deal with Ride1up customer service, and that's a good thing right there, because I actually got to talk to someone. So Ride1up apparently has pretty good customer service. I know anytime I've called Ride1up and asked them a few questions, someone answers the phone. I can usually get a couple questions. I've tried that with a lot of other direct-to-consumer brands that just don't answer the phone or put you on hold, or and I deal with a lot of customers that say they can't get through to the companies that they bought these bikes from. Just know when you're buying on their internet, you're not buying someone from face to face. That costs money. On the tier 1 bikes that I sell, I deal with those customers face to face before they throw down their money on my counter and say they want that bike, and I'm there after the sale for them. After the sale, I do a lot of bicycle repair on e-bikes, on direct-to-consumer e-bikes. I fix a lot of those bikes. A lot of those customers aren't happy with their bikes. This bike here, I want to talk about my personal experience on this bike, and I'm not hanging my hat on this bike as far as I don't want people calling my bike shop and complaining because they bought this bike and this bike broke. I'm not a dealer for this bike, but I know I'm having fun riding this bike around. This has been a great bike for me to go run my errands on. I've been using this bike to go back and forth to my house. I live about 7 miles away from the bike shop, and I've been commuting on this bike. I commute in multiple surfaces. So I'm commuting on gravel roads, I'm commuting on sidewalks, I'm commuting on urban situations, and this bike really does ride pretty good. It's got a small front fork on it, but it's it's unbranded. I don't know what brand it is. I deal with a lot of front forks, but this is actually a hydraulic lockout fork with fairly good stanchions on it and a 20-inch tire, so there's not a lot of deflection. This bike rides pretty good over multiple surfaces. Now, I'm not saying go take this bike out on the mountain bike track or throw it on a BMX track and beat it up, but in just general cruising, this bike does a good job of smoothing out the bumps. The 20-inch tire is nice when I say a mini folding e-bike. I see bikes with 10-inch tires. I see bikes with 18-inch tires. I see bikes with 6-inch tires. This has got a 20-inch tire. A 20-inch tire is pretty good. When get 24, 26, 27 and a half, 29, they get pretty large, and there's advantages and disadvantages of that. But for a utilitarian style e-bike, this bike rides really good on 20-inch tires, and it's a 20 times 3, so it's 3 inches wide. You know, good tread pattern, metal fenders, nice little hydraulic fork. The frame is really good, and I have to say the paint job on this bike is really good. I like the carrying handle. Here's a controller here, and I haven't had any mechanical issues with this bike. It does have an altless derailleur on it with the oversized pulleys, standard Shimano gears. I believe it's a 48 tooth chain ring. 11 in the back would be your biggest ring, and here's your hub motor. So I don't know what hub motor they have on there. It's not a branded motor that I can see, and same with the brakes. It's not, this is a hydraulic brake system. I don't know what brand brake system it is. Shimano gears, but this bike works as it should. The brakes work good. On a bike like this, you don't really, a lot of people come and ask me questions about the gearing. You're not really using the gears that much on these bikes anyway. Most people I see, leave it in the heaviest gear and just roll with it. And, there's problems with that, but that's what I see most people doing. So you're gonna, at 20 or 28 miles an hour, you're gonna overspin this bike anyway. But it's not it's not that kind of bike. It's a utilitarian bike. You gotta realize what you're getting for $1,000 is a very good value. And I am a professional, professional bicycle salesman. Now, I can't believe that they're selling this bike for $1,000, but they can, and that's how they're, they don't have to pay me to sell this bike. That means you also have to understand how to use this bike, how to fit this bike. You're the one taking the risk, sending $1,000 off to some company if you haven't looked, touched, and feel. And since this bike is not in my showroom, you can't walk into my showroom and look and touch and feel. So that's the advantage of maybe some of the name brand bikes. You get to look at them first, you get to touch them, you get to talk to a salesman that's very knowledgeable about them. I'm doing Ride1up a favor on this bike just because it is a very good bike, and it's got a lot of, really cool touch points and features that for $1,000 I think it's a good bike. But like I said, for $1,000 they can't pay me to sell this bike out of my shop. There's no margin in it for me. So I'm just doing some honest YouTube reviews on this bike. I'm on the back bay of Biloxi. It's 20+ mile-an-hour winds out here right now, and it's not a pleasant time to go ride a regular bike into the wind. It's a very pleasant temperature, and there's no bugs with this wind, and with this bike it's no problem. I was just going into the wind at 20+ miles an hour on this bike, no problem. So this is a great bike for someone that wants to, travel in their motorhome, have something to get around on, park their car when they get home from work and do errands on. This is a full welded rack. So this rack, you can actually put several accessories on, and they do have some brackets here on the frame. I believe that you can mount, maybe some floorboards or something to this bike. I'm not going to go into all the specs and components of this bike because, a lot of them really don't make a difference. As an e-bike mechanic, the bicycle transmission is what fails more than anything. When you're mating a 750 watt motor up to a bicycle transmission like this, you got to realize I sell this bicycle transmission on $600 and $700 regular bikes. $600 and $700 bikes are, customers buying those bikes aren't throwing 750 watts into them. So you put a lot of power into a bicycle transmission. If you know how to use a throttle, know how to use gears, you can make that work right. Don't drop this bike, bend the derailleur hanger, let the derailleur get stuck into the wheels, and then blame Ride1up. We see a lot of people that say their bike, the derailleur has gone into the rear wheel and I never dropped it. And then I look at the rear derailleur, it's got scratches all over it. So you got to realize what you're buying here is a good bike for the money, but this is not, I might be numb to it because, out of my bike shop, I sell a lot of, $1,000 wheels. This is a $1,000 electric bike, and it's appears to be a very good quality bike. I've been riding it, and I haven't had any problems I've only been riding it for about a week, but it's a cool bike for the money. So if you're, you know, if I was going to go on a trip and I didn't want to throw a $3,000 Trek on the back of my van, you know, in case it got stolen or wrecked or something, it's $1,000. You don't want to need to lose $1,000. I don't want to take $1,000 out of my pocket and throw it into the wind right now. But you got to realize there's a lot of bike here for the money. It's a cool bike. I've seen a lot worse for a lot more. And I say that in the kindest way to Ride1up. And to you, you know, a lot of people might not be, you know, thinking $1,000 is a lot of money for a bike, but believe me, as a guy that sells name brand bikes, I sell a lot of $10 and $12, $13, $14,000 bikes. And you guys might think that's crazy, but it's all what people are into. You know, if you're into fishing and boating, if you're into gambling, if you're into just going out and partying, you know, add up your bill after a month. You know, $1,000 is pretty good for what you get here. I don't know what you're getting on this camera right now. Like I said, I'm just using a GoPro. I'm on the back bay. I'm running some errands. It's not a staged video. I like this little bike. If you're looking for some good second transportation, this is a good little bike. I do say bring it by a bike shop after you get this bike and assemble it, and let a bike shop, you know, put their hands on it and tighten all the bolts and make sure the brakes aren't, you know, dragging, and, you know, give you a little customer education on it. So, and with your $1,000, you know, budget a little bit of money to drop it by a bike shop once in a while. But Ride1up is putting a quality bike together for the money, for sure. I have seen some really crappy e-bikes for $1,000. This is a darn good e-bike for $1,000. But like I said, I've been riding it for a week. There's a lot of parts on here that aren't branded, but they seem to work just as they should. And I don't want people calling up my bike shop 3 or 4 months from now saying I told them to buy this bike and now it's crap and be mad at me. It's a good bike. I'm going to ride it around for a little bit more. I don't know how long Ride1up's going to let me keep it, but I'm going to use this as my daily commuter. If something happens, I'll let you know. And I'll try to do maybe a weekly review on this bike. I'm letting some of my friends ride it. Everybody seems to like this little bike so far. But like I said, I don't sell this bike, but for $1,000, I don't think you can beat it if you're looking for this type of bike. But just remember, that's what type of bike are you looking for? If you need good solid transportation, something that's fun, something that's compact, something with better parts than other bikes at $1,000, that's for sure. Look at this Ride1up little folding e-bike. The paint job's nice, the frame's nice, you know, it's got some cool features to it. I'll go more into detail, but like I said, as I was running errands, I thought I'd pop out the video camera, and if you're interested in buying this bike, you know, that's what this YouTube channel does. If you like what we do, like and subscribe. I'll do more on this bike. Just came out on the market, so it's fairly new, but it's a cool little bike. I'm having fun riding it on the back bay of Biloxi right now, and I'm sure if you're on the back bay of Biloxi, you'd have fun riding this thing too. Bicycle Rider YouTube, this is Bart, over and out.